back to another 31 Days of Horror 2020 video. Again, James did not pick anything because Leslie went to Amazon Prime.
They keep popping up things and I'm like,
Yeah, she sent this to me and was like, would this count? And she's like, because if it didn't count, I would have watched it by myself. I was like, no, that would count. So, the film we were watching is...
The Lie.
The Lie. Technically, it's a 2018 film. It was at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2018, but it didn't come out until now, 2020, in terms of wide distribution, because it is an Amazon essentially produced film with Blumhouse Pictures, one of 4 pictures that they essentially paid Blumhouse Studios to produce. All horror films, all apparently revolving around family and such. I don't know. The film, what is this? What is this film about? This film is about a shitty teenager. Essentially, it's a broken family, and dad is picking up his daughter to take her to, what was it, ballet school or class or something. And along the way, they spot her best friend, who apparently also goes to said ballet school dance thingy, at a bus stop. So, they decide, oh, we're going there, we'll take you. And then along the way, she has to go to the bathroom in the middle of nowhere. And instead of, holding it in, they decide, all right, stop, go off into the woods and go to the bathroom. And unfortunately, instead of going to the bathroom, they decide to sit on a bridge over a semi-frozen river.
maybe she wanted to pee like that, didn't want to sit
Maybe.
in the snow. Who knows?
Maybe, who knows? But she ends up in the river, and perishes. And dad hears the scream of his daughter and goes running and finds her, and she says, she's gone, right? And so he goes and he's looking for her, can't find the body, can't find anything, and he's like, we gotta get help, to which his daughter says, I pushed her. Bum bum bum. And then, being the parents that they are, they decide, you know what, we're just gonna try and cover it up as best possible. And that's essentially what the story is about. And so, yeah, this is one of those films where it's not your traditional horror type film. Most horror fanatics would probably look at it. I mean, even Leslie was like, I didn't think it qualified for the 31 Days of Horror. But if you go to IMDb, it is listed as a horror. And like I said, it is one of 4 films, horror films specifically from Blumhouse. The guys who did the Purge movies and a whole bunch of other things. Specifically horror. This is a horror film. It's just not your traditional horror film. It's not what you would normally see as a horror film. It's not even really portrayed so much as a horror film. It is very much a drama. Mm-hmm. It is very much, if you're into, like Leslie is, true crime, if this was a true story, this would be played off almost like a dramatization of what really happened in the case type thing. Because it is played, there isn't a lot of music. Music is very, there's little bits of it in there, but a lot of times there's nothing. There's just dialogue and talking and people trying to figure things out, and like people crying and a lot of emotion.
As you would think there would be.
Yeah, exactly, right? Trying to keep things as realistic as possible. Ah! The twins are back.
You just stay here. Jeez.
But yeah, who's involved in the film? Well, it's written and directed by Veena Sood. You probably don't know the name. But if you know the Netflix show The Killing, she created that.
Oh, that's why she... Okay.
If you know Cold Case, she wrote and directed a whole bunch of episodes for that. If you know the film The Salton Sea, which there are some elements of Salton Sea I can see came about. She did it, I think it's 2 years prior to this film. There's some similarities between them, but she wrote and directed that one as well. And then a few other things, but that's her main things. She's a producer, writer, director, and she's dabbled in film and television. So not a huge body of work, but pretty substantial considering most people don't probably know who she is. In terms of cast, we've got as the father Peter Sarsgaard. Now, did you recognize him at all?
Well, he's supposed to be something.
Wasn't he supposed to be something?
I know the name.
Well, I don't know. If you saw, did you see? I don't think you saw Jackie, did you? Mm-mm. Well, he was Bobby Kennedy in that. Black Mass with, no? He was Brian Halloran in that. Again, he was in The Killing. Did you watch any of The Killing on Netflix?
Are you freaking kidding me? I was gonna start rewatching that.
He's Ray Seward in 12 episodes of The Killing.
Oh.
If you saw the Green Lantern movie, he was Hector Hammond.
I did see that movie.
If you saw Orphan, he was John. Trying to think. Jarhead was a pretty popular movie. He was Alan Troy. Flight Plan. He was Carson. The Skeleton Key.
Oh my God.
Luke Marshall. Garden State. He was played Mark. K-19, The Widowmaker. If you saw that, Lieutenant Vadim Radichenko. Yeah. The Cell. If you saw that, he was in that as well. But yeah, he's been in a whole bunch of stuff. He's not probably the most popular Sarsgaard, but he's a Sarsgaard, and he's been in a few things. So to him, he was the name that I was most drawn to. I was like, all right, Peter Sarsgaard's in this movie. It should be good. Wife, played by Mireille Enos.
She was in The Killing.
Never heard of her before.
She was, right?
Probably. She was in... Was she in The Killing? She was in The Killing, yes.
She was the main person.
44 episodes of The Killing as Sarah Linden. So clearly The Killing is playing a big role in terms of this movie because everybody was involved in The Killing. Apparently she was in World War Z as Karen Lane and Gangster Squad as Connie O'Mara. And apparently Big Love. Maybe that's where I saw her mostly from.
You watched that?
I loved Big Love. It was a great show. Let me into a world that I hardly knew anything about.
Oh, she was. Well, that must have been a bit part in Crossing Jordan.
Oh. It's just an episode. So yeah, she wasn't the most recognized person for me.
She was for me.
But she was for you?
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the most recognized person for me is the young teenage girl played by Joey King.
Their daughter?
The daughter. Now, if you are into Netflix teen movies, The Kissing Booth and The Kissing Booth 2, she was the main character in those. I have not seen those. She was in 8 episodes of The Act. She was Ren from Slender Man. Yeah. She was pretty much the main character in Smartass, if you saw that teen thing. Wish Upon. Independence Day Resurgence. She was Sam. I don't think you've seen that one. If you've seen the Fargo television show, she's in 9 episodes of that. R.L. Stein's The Haunting Hour. You probably saw her out of that one. I don't know that I did.
I've seen them all, so.
White House Down. She was Emily. Then there was there something else that I saw her from? Oh yeah, Battle Los Angeles. She played the Kirsten girl in there. It wasn't a big role, but it was big enough. But you may know her. You know Quarantine. You know that remake movie, found footage thing. Well, she played the Brianna character, and she was also in 3 episodes of Jericho, a show which I had to buy the comics just to find out how the damn thing ended. Because it's one of those shows that got canceled before it got, finished.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is she, like, really super annoying in all of those things that she's in, or was it just this? Because she's doing a lot of things, so I...
No, not necessarily. Sometimes she's just sort of a secondary character, has talking parts and all this kind of stuff, but you don't fall, like, she's not in through the whole movie, right? She'll be in a scene or something and going, and yes, some of them are annoying. I haven't seen the teen type movie shows that she's in.
I'm not gonna watch that anyway.
I'll have to ask Sarah. Maybe she's seen them. Maybe she watched them. So they're in her age group. But yeah, she probably had one of the. I didn't even realize the larger body of work compared to everybody. But yeah, so in terms of cast, everybody sees she wasn't in The Killing though. Apparently, so
No, because if she was, I probably would have stopped early on.
Can you, I'll just let Leslie go here because she's chomping at the bit. I could she's like, hey, let me at her. Go for it.
I just don't know if it's that I don't like her in whatever she's been in, or I really, 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 really hated her character.
Yeah.
Like, a lot.
Yeah.
Because
it's hard to say a lot about her character without giving stuff away.
No,
so keep that in mind.
How old was she supposed to be?
She was 15.
15. Okay. But like normal.
We know how
abilities.
15-year-olds are.
No, but kind of normal abilities, right? Like she wasn't slow and stuff, and
no, she goes to a private ballet thing, so
but
she's
it's
got
like,
something going for her.
What just bothered me so much is if I get it, like kids don't listen to their parents. I know that, okay? But if it comes to something really important, like what, you know what I mean? Like it's not like she wouldn't understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, put it this way. If your kid, whatever age they are, steals a car, you don't go, oh, they're just being a teenager.
Yeah, no.
No, they know they were doing something wrong. So you don't just laugh it off. You don't just go, oh, we're gonna cover it up and make it like you never stole the car. Like it. The likelihood that you get away with these type of things is it's possible, but yeah, when you're not a professional doing these things, it often comes back to bite you. So yeah, her like right off the bat, like we said, pushed her friend off a bridge to her death because she was being a bitch.
Yeah, seriously.
That was the reason she gave.
Like, I can see, all right, you guys are walking around and you're just like, you know what I mean, or whatever. But hey, if I'm pushing somebody off a bridge, this might not end well. Like it's not just a playful or not even playful, but like where's the logic in that? Like, you would know that's not a good idea. Doesn't matter how mad you are at somebody. In the back of your mind, you gotta have a little thing there being like, wait a minute, you know? And I never, from the very, very beginning of the movie where you even first see her, I didn't like her, and I didn't like her personality, and I didn't feel anything for her.
And she hated her friend even more.
Yes.
If that says anything, right?
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
yeah.
So it was hard for me going through this movie. Like, I didn't have any sympathy for her whatsoever. Because, I mean, well, I don't know if I can say that.
No, it put it this way. It's played off that she does it on purpose. Mm-hmm. And then her parents deliberately try and cover it up. At no point does anybody say it was an accident. Right? Like, she doesn't even go, I didn't mean to. It wasn't, like, I didn't think she would fall. That doesn't come out of her mouth. At no point do her parents go, oh my God, we'll just say it an accident because the only two people who know are you and the dead person. Mm-hmm. And there's no way to prove otherwise because it's winter and it's slick and anything. And you could just be like, yeah, well, we went up there, we're goofing off. And next thing you know, she fell in the water. I turned around and I heard sploosh.
Which is totally plausible.
Totally plausible. And there's nothing, like, short of if had she hit her with a hammer or something like that, had there been some blunt force trauma, right, then, okay, there's a problem. But no, they go right to covering it, and they do a poor job of it, because they've never seen the body. So, eventually the body's going to be found, but they're just playing it like, oh, we never saw her. We don't know. Oh. So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like them either.
Yeah, so this is clearly one of those films where we didn't like anybody in it, like their characters. Yeah. And when that happens, it's really hard to sit there and watch it and want them to do anything other than, like, get caught. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, that's the whole thing is like...
Well, that's what I was waiting for. It's like, okay, something going to happen now? Something going to happen now?
Yeah, and I
surely something will happen.
A lot of it was a lot of nothing. It was a lot of them talking and trying to... like I said, cover it up. Like, make it so that there's, like, they never saw her. They didn't, like, that was their whole thing. We didn't see her. We don't know what happened to her. So they're constantly getting questioned by the girl's father, by the police, who they instigate getting involved, because that's their plan, is try and pin it on the father. Despite the fact that they don't know what happened to her. They've never seen... like, their plan changes so many times during the film that you're like, honestly, guys, you're going to get caught at this point. You've got no continuity to what you're doing, no continuity to what you've told people, and you keep making things worse. The cops are going to come down, bust down your door, and put shackles on you at some point, right?
Can I say what the mom does?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I found this all, like, really surprising that she was going along with this, because she's a lawyer.
Yeah.
So...
she's supposed to be using her connections and her brains and her knowledge of all this kind of stuff
she wouldn't be a very good lawyer,
get away with it. I get the dad. He's a musician.
But, like, and I get the whole thing.
He's got no knowledge whatsoever.
I've got more knowledge from watching my shows, man. I'm like, why? But, like, I get that then you want to protect your kid and stuff. I understand that. However, if you were, say, taking Emily somewhere, okay, and you came back to me, whether I'm a lawyer or not, but especially if I was a lawyer, and you're like, okay, this is what happened, and, we're just going to cover it up, and I would be like, no. Like, no, because it's not going to end well. Like, no, I don't want to get involved in that. And I would be the one to say, listen, you know what? Like, it was an accident, right? Like, it was probably an accident. You know, we'll just go with that. But for her to just agree and get involved, I was just like, what the hell is wrong with you?
It was a train. Everything about it was like, if you got the stupidest people, like if these people were stupid, like absolutely stupid, no education, no nothing, and they were simply going off of, I saw it in a television show once, we could do this. Maybe.
Even I would not say that.
No, but some people like,
you know?
well, you watch a lot of true crime and stuff like that. But if all your true crime knowledge came from, say, watching Dukes of Hazzard, right?
And not Forensic Files.
And not Forensic Files, or even CSI, which is completely made up, you know, at least you'd look at it and go, okay, they're going to get me. If all your knowledge comes from, say, you know, TJ Hooker or Miami Vice or Dukes of Hazzard or the A-Team, you might go, I think I can come up with something. I saw this on an episode once. They did this, and nobody ever was the wiser. Yeah, I guess, but I don't even know if you can, considering how big like CSI is. I don't even know if anybody out there could go off and go like, are your fingerprints on the body? Like, at least? Because if they are, that's a problem.
No, and the whole thing, I think that her, as the mother and as a lawyer, that what she should have done to protect her daughter is, you know, to go about it the right way kind of thing and not do something stupid half-assed, you know, like, no. I'm sure she could have come up with something legally, you know, to have the least amount happen to her. You know?
Well, yeah.
Like, maybe nothing would have happened, you know, because if it was an accident, you know what I mean? Like, maybe nothing would have happened.
Who knows? All I know is I'm watching this entire film and I'm just like, what? Everything is wrong about it. Like, what they're doing and how they're going about stuff. And there's so little actually happening in this film that it takes, like, how long is the movie? It was...
I don't know.
It doesn't even say. Doesn't say. What the heck is it? Wow, an hour and 37 minutes. It seemed longer. But like I said, there's a lot of nothing happening. A lot of nothing happening. And we're not even going to touch on the climax and ending of this film.
No, because I would love to talk about that, but
yeah.
I'm not allowed.
No.
Because I got some thoughts.
There are some added thoughts. Many of which we've already touched on, but they get amplified. As one kind of expects with, you know, the climax of a film. Things get ramped up, things get boosted, and most of those are distaste of people in this film.
Like, I was saying to you how much this movie made me so mad.
Yes.
Like, mad. And I have not felt mad like that.
Maybe that's what this film is supposed to be. Like, if that's what she set out to do as a writer-director, if she was like, I want to make a movie that pisses the viewer off, that they sit there and go, what the bloody hell, you people are the stupidest, I just want to reach through and wring your necks. If that's what she was going for, damn, she did a good job. She did a fantastic job. I don't think that's what she was going for.
But it's not like I'm sitting here like, oh God, another stupid movie. Man. Like, no, I was mad.
Yeah. It was. At any point, did you just want to turn it off? No. Well, there you go. Because
I wanted to know what happened. But I think that's more because I like the true crime stuff, and I'm like, okay, how's this gonna come together?
kind of. Yeah, I don't know. I give it a rating.
Out of 5.
Out of 5.
Don't laugh. I think I'm going with 3 because it got a reaction out of me.
Wow. Wow, this may be the first time where I'm less than Leslie. 2.5 for me. Technically, there's nothing necessarily wrong with the film. I would have liked more music. There is a lot of silent talking and stuff just happening in the film where I felt like there's already a void in terms of how lackluster, boring the things are actually playing out. I would have liked a little bit of music to maybe get me going with it. Performances are, I guess, good. Like I said, this film got us pissed off at the people involved in it. So if that was what this person was setting out to do, this gets a 4.
You know what? Now I'm gonna have to look up if she did like any interviews talking about,
right?
You know, because.
But I have a feeling, based off of her other works and stuff, no, this was a straightforward. She was trying to make the film that was portrayed here, and it wasn't supposed to be necessarily pissed off. It was probably supposed to be trying to be realistic. I think it was very much trying to be realistic. And yeah, to a certain degree, it is realistic, but there's a lot of... For this film to be truly realistic, there has to be a lot of really, really dumb people involved. And I didn't really get the sense that the people were involved were really dumb. They just did really dumb things in this movie. And so most of the points I'm taking off is simply because I don't think I'm supposed to be feeling this way after watching the movie. I don't think I am. Recommend?
Yes.
Oh my God! No! No, I can't give it a recommend. I'm not even going to recommend it to fans of true crime, but do we find the other 3? Because I think they're all supposed to be out now. I told you, it was one of 4 Blumhouse movies.
Oh.
Horror movies about family
that's what
or
must
something.
all be on the Amazon.
They must be what they were talking about. So, do we venture into another one?
Listen.
We got lots of movies to watch. I'll probably watch at least one.
You gotta, if it's on Amazon, you gotta watch it now or it's not gonna be there.
This is an Amazon movie. They own it.
I just said. These are way less crappy than your piles.
Oh.
Because I got another one to show you.
Oh. Okay. Well, that being said, let's go to the pile and watch another movie for 31 Days of Horror.
No pile.
Anyways, let us know. Did you check out The Lie? What are your thoughts? Try and keep it spoiler free. It's really hard with this film. Really, really hard. There's so much you want to say and so much you can't say. But yeah.
Need to do a live thing if you've seen it and then be like,
yeah, really. Just right off the bat, spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. But yeah, thanks for watching. Until next video, take care. Have a good one.